Okay, next is live trace, and I've got a picture already traced up here that I just moved out of the way. It's with that helicopter. I'll do that. I'll use that again for this short movie here. To do it, you just bring in an image, photographic image, or it could be something that you've worked over in an Illustrator image that you worked over in Photoshop, and now it's a picture. Okay, like we did before. Okay, bring that in. I'm going to just find a picture here. That has worked pretty well in the past. It comes in very big. It's a big image. So I'm just going to make it smaller. Holding my Shift Option, I'll put it right here on this page. Okay, and I'll zoom back in. Okay, with that selected, I just select the image. Immediately there are some options up here for live trace. It's the first option when you select the picture. Now there's a default that'll turn it into black and white. It's just called image trace, and this does take a little time as it makes that conversion, and you can see a black and white image. Okay, I'll undo that. There are some other options that drop down from this little triangle, and I'll try maybe 3-color trace this time. And again, you'll see it going through its function here, finding the paths and converting this into the first steps of converting it to a vector image. And that's basically what you're doing, is just taking a bitmap image, and Illustrator will find paths in it to convert. This will work with your drawings too, like the logos that we did earlier. If you had a nice drawing of a logo that you'd done by hand and photographed, you could bring that in and trace it in with this same function. I haven't found that that's a real efficient way to do a logo. The way that we did it, where we did it manually, seems to me to be a lot better. Now you see it's traced it there, and it's found the 3 colors that it chose, a kind of a dark, and then a light brown, and then a medium. It's still a photograph. If I go to outline view here, you'll see that it's still indicating as an image, and it is still an image. If we decided that that was exactly what we wanted to use, we would press right here on this button, expand, and it would convert it to paths. I'll just go ahead and click that right now, and you can see what it does. It actually converts it into paths. If I do my outline view now, you can see all those different paths. Now I'm going to undo that and convert it back to an image, because I've got some other things I want to show you. And it's taking it back a step to a picture image. It looks a lot alike, but remember that the expand is what actually adds the vectors that we're able to edit in Illustrator. Okay, so as we're finishing this up, it'll come back and we'll be back with the little image with the X across. This is, like I say, it does take a little time. You want to make sure that you save often while you're working on this, because of the risk that Illustrator might get overwhelmed. Okay, again, now we're back into an image, as you see there in preview. I just wanted to mention that of these other options here, there's the preset with the 3 colors that we did just a minute ago. The button that we had before is now replaced by this expand button. So if I come over here, I can look at some of my other presets. There's a 6, a 16. You can do it in shades of gray, or you can do a high fidelity photo. High fidelity and low fidelity photos converts it so close to being a photograph that I don't often use those. In fact, sometimes the vector image that you get from those is bigger than the original photograph, and it looks a lot like it. So, they have sort of limited use in my view. There is a little button right here, though. If you'll roll over that, it says Image Trace Panel. When you click right here, it opens up an interface that's actually pretty handy as far as letting you do exactly what you want to do. And we saw where it had 3 colors and 6 colors and 16 colors and that. Well, you can actually come in here and make it have exactly the number of colors that you want. So if I decide maybe 9 colors is what I want, which wasn't on the list, I can do it with 9 colors, and I'll just click on the trace, and it'll go through the same functions that it did before. You'll want to check out all these options here. In the view mode, you can actually turn it back to the original image, so you can see that. This panel is really pretty flexible and does a lot of different things. There's even an advanced section that you might want to turn that little key right there and check out the other things that it'll do. And here we're just waiting now for it to finish up. I've got my window here showing just enough of the image. You can see my canvas in the background there. Okay, now what this has done is it has made 9 colors available to us, and in fact that is pretty much what I want, because I was hoping to get a little bit more of the green, a little of the red. It's also included some blue, but it's a very it's a limited color, 9 colors. You can see how it sort of looks almost painted in a way. I'm going to go ahead and expand that, and now you can see all the paths, many paths. Okay, and when I zoom in, you can see it really does look rather painterly. I'll just go ahead and expand this window. Okay, all right, now once you're in this mode, you can edit this according to the fill colors that are provided. Use your white arrow. The black arrow is going to select the whole thing because it comes in as a grouped image, but if you click with the white arrow, for instance, I can click this sandy color that's down here, and if I use my select same fill color, and now you'll see that everything that is that sandy brown color is selected throughout the picture. Now that gives you the opportunity to change that to any other color that you want. It's going to look kind of weird if you choose something that's dramatically different, but you could. And there's a blue and a purple and a red. Okay. But if you use a neutral color down here, you can change it to a off gray or a lighter color. You could use some of these colors so it's slightly darker. But you can see maybe a kind of a nice advantage to that of just picking the colors as a collective. I can do the same thing with my green object, or select same fill color. Now everything that's that green can be changed to something different, to a brighter green, to a darker green, or to a yellow, or something dramatically different. Okay, now I'm just going to undo some of that. Bring it back to where I had it. Okay, and there's the original, I think, now. Still in vector paths now, lots and lots of vector paths. I want to show you a couple other things that are kind of fun to do. If you want, you can take a section out of this still. It's like editing a photograph, you can edit this. So if I wanted just these guys working on the helicopter, or if I wanted this tiny little combine in the background, or if I want this guy over here on the right, I can do that. And I think I'll pick on him. I'll use my rectangle tool, and I'll just isolate a small area around this fellow right here. Now, the way to do this is to use the divide function. So I've got that selected. I'll go to Object, Path, and Divide Objects below. Okay, now what that does is a little hard to see in preview, but what that does here in outline view is it has divided all those colors, and you can see a little box around him now. I'm still in outline view. I'm going to drag a box from the outside into this picture, and I'm going to stop right above that little box there, and you can see that it selects a few paths. I'm going to delete and then delete again, and you can see that I'm actually able to identify these identify that area by simply deleting the anchor points around it. I'm going to start again with my outline view. I'm going to start here on the outside and come back this way towards the box, trying not to touch the box because the box is going to be a path as well. I'm going to delete that and then hit delete again. Remember, when you're using the white arrow, it works for deleting. It works best to touch it twice. I'm going to select these guys, and I'm going to select these guys. Starting away from the image and working towards the image is really the best way to do this. Delete, delete, and I'm able to get this guy sort of standing here by himself. Now you may see that there's a couple of little things there that didn't get deleted that were awfully close to the line, and you can delete those. And it looks like here's one, And you can just march around the outside edge there and maybe find a few others. Isn't that nice looking? Look at his face. Yeah, here's a little piece that didn't get deleted away. Okay, and boy, a really close one. I don't know if I can catch that one or not. Yeah, got it. Okay, and I'll zoom out. You can see now I kind of have this drawn portrait of this guy standing here by himself. I can still select that with the white arrow. Remember, it's still part of this group, so you have to use the white arrow first. But I can scale him now and make him sort of a image of his own. Okay, that I could work with separate from the rest of the image over here. You could do the same thing with what's left, or you can do this. This is kind of fun. I just kind of discovered this. If you drag a very thin, again with the white arrow, drag a very thin line across like this, and then touch once instead of twice, and then deselect, you can actually break little paths through here. Touch once instead of twice. Sometimes they, whoops, I touched twice. Sometimes they connect maybe more than you want them to. Let me try it over here. I'll get a path through right here. That was so little it didn't select anything. Delete. And you can see how it puts these kind of horizontal lines across here. This is just a kind of arbitrary thing that I discovered that's kind of fun. You can try it this way. And it finds, occasionally finds big areas that it wants to delete. And then sometimes it's these thin lines coming across here. And you can kind of end up with something maybe kind of interesting to look at that way too. All right, so experiment with that. Use any picture that you want. That's the live trace function. Sometimes it's a great way to make a illustrated looking image from a photograph.